You are tuning in to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe and worldwide at irlonestar.com.
Let's begin now.
Hello and welcome to the Ticket Stub, your favorite place for movie news and reviews. We broadcast live every Thursday at noon on 104.5 and 106.1 from beautiful Conroe, Texas. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook. The Ticket Stub has a sponsorship with the Grand Theater and Amstar Cinema. You can visit irlonestar.com for information about the show, sponsorships, or you can give us a call at 936-647-3776. Also, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review on any podcast platform. My name's Connor. I'm one of the hosts of the show. Joined in studio, as always, by my friend Chris Appel. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well.
And Dick Schisler. How you doing?
Word up.
Word to your mother. We got a good show today. We got several things coming up. We are going to do some movie news. We got a couple good ones. I'm excited about the news this week.
Pretty good.
You know, some weeks the news, it just is what it is. You know, we don't make the news. We just report the news. All right, kind of like Ron Burgundy. But this week there were some good things. We're going to do some rewinds of the movies that we've seen over the last week. And then we're going to play a game called Short Synopsis, where I will slowly reveal the IMDb synopsis of a movie, one word at a time. First to guess gets the point.
I am so bad at that game, I think.
I think this one is going to be, I think y'all are going to get them. These are not hard.
Okay.
Now I'm just setting you up to look even worse. Right?
I think you are.
Yeah. These are the easiest they could ever be. If you can't get these in the first 3 words, you don't know anything about movies. Thank you for listening. Make sure you're telling a friend about the show. We love to grow the show, get more involvement, more listeners engaging us on social medias, on, give us a call. We haven't had a call in a while. We need a call. Someone right now, stop what you're doing. 936-647-3776. Make sure you say you're calling for the Ticket Stub. Don't call for chicks, okay? The hotline is not for chicks. We've had mix-ups before.
Yeah, we have.
We have no chicks, all right?
We know that was you.
Oh, it was me? Yeah.
Well, you have done a lot of gags before, you
I
know?
have done a lot of games.
Yeah,
that was not me, though.
I hope you like
if
my
I
new
had thought of it-
voiceover work.
Yeah.
I'll sign
I
like
wrote a new song called Christmas Time is Christmas. Has that gone platinum yet, Chris? Your Christmas
It
time?
hasn't, but
No?
it's doing well, though.
Okay.
It's slowing down.
Yeah,
It's
but I
not
would
Christmas
imagine-
now, but yeah.
I
It's
imagine
doing good.
the view count probably wanes about this time.
It
of
does,
year.
yeah.
Yeah. Hey, y'all see the blood moon the other day?
I did not. I saw the moon come up, and then I saw it go down. But
Dick's giving me a face. Dude, there was a blood moon. It was an eclipse.
Super wolf blood moon.
Super wolf blood moon. And
or did you have something to do with the leather people that day?
yeah, oh yeah.
Is that what you're trying to lead this into?
Let's just say there was a ritual. All right, I may or may not have attended a ritual. Okay, there may have been blood
Peek
involved.
through this and see the blood moon.
$20 a piece. Pick through this to say the blood moon.
Leather chaps with no backside.
Yeah. You remember when the solar eclipse happened? You had to buy those special things. This does not have anything to do with what we're talking about
Yeah.
today. We got a good show.
I think what you should
Besides the
do-
blood moon talk.
that would make me happy about Bird Box if they actually incorporated some type of eclipse that caused everyone to like have to be blind, and see that would make a lot more sense than what they kind of introduced.
That'd be the one perk of Bird Box is you could look at the solar eclipse without having to buy the special bifocals or whatever.
Yeah.
You just you have your blindfold on. You just look right up at it. Yeah. So the Bird Box missed some really positive spins they could have done with things like that.
Well, they could be a bird box.
Well, the
too.
conspiracy
That's
theory is when Bird Box 2 comes out, the blind people rule the earth, and that's really what it's about. Is they're the one cursing everybody.
Oh, and they subjugate like the seers. Like
Yeah.
it's like a subclass. Like, oh, you're a seer.
Oh, you're
yeah,
a
get out of
seer.
here.
Oh,
It would make dating, like they could be real wholesome. Like, hey, I care about the character, not the, not what you
No,
look
no.
like.
There you
No,
go.
no,
well, you
the-
can
the-
still feel.
no. The biggest question throughout the whole movie, like, how do I know you're blind?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, it's like stolen valor with the military. Like people who pretend to be soldiers. Like
Oh,
you're
man.
pretending. You're pretending to be blind.
How do I know?
Well, we have gotten off topic, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
Well, that's from last week's
It's called a
episode.
callback. That's right. It's called a
So,
callback. If you-
Episode 86 available now on iTunes and YouTube and Facebook Live. The Ticket Stub Podcast.
If you don't know what we're talking about, go back and listen. This is episode 87. Disregard the fact that I sent you something that said episode 86. My copy and paste
I
skills
updated
failed me. Okay, well, you're the man. Oh, so let's hop right into movie news. The first thing, speaking of callbacks to last week's show, we talked about Ghostbusters a little bit last week.
Mm.
And in our sexism, we failed to realize that there may be some people upset with the fact that there was a female Ghostbusters that's getting entirely overlooked by the new reboot. although you could argue maybe it's not being entirely overlooked. Leslie Jones, who is one of the black stars from the last one, she's on SNL. She's pretty. I would say she's getting pretty famous. Leslie Jones, right?
Oh yeah, I think she's pretty good. Yeah.
She's in commercials. She's funny. You know, she's real like animated, really animated in her acting. So she sent a tweet out.
Well, I remember that was one of the positive things to come out of the reboot Ghostbusters was her performance.
Yeah, and I think it kind of moved her up the SNL ranks a little bit, you know, to have that that iconic movie role in the iconic, maybe an oversell, but she tweeted this out. So insulting, like F us. We didn't DINT. Maybe a little grammar check there. We didn't count. It's like something Trump would do. Trump voice. Gonna redo Ghostbusters. Better with men. We'll be huge. Those women ain't Ghostbusters. Ugh, so annoying. Such a D move.
Why aren't you letting Chris
I'm
do
not
this?
done yet.
There were so many different accents.
Why
there
aren't
that
you
were
letting
trying to
Chris do this?
No,
Because
no,
he's
no.
the voiceover.
Actually, let's do this
No,
again,
no.
Chris. I'm gonna start from the beginning, and when I say Trump, when I get to the Trump voice, you take that part, and then I'll come back in.
I don't have it in front of me. I can't. No, you just continue.
Okay,
I
anyways.
think they get it.
Ugh, so annoying. Such a D move, and I don't give F. I'm saying something. So
I'm showing it on the screen right now, by the way.
grammatical errors aside.
I'm showing what
Oh,
she's
you are
wrote.
showing all
Yeah.
the bad words? Oh, okay.
Well, no, it's oh yeah, there's bad words.
Yeah, there's several bad
What's-
words. Grammatical errors aside, she's pretty upset, and then afterwards started an online storm. But then she replied, "It's very sad that this is the response I get when the point is, if they make this new one with all men and it does well, which it will, I mean, I don't know about that, it might feel that boys are better, quote. It makes my heart drop. Maybe I could have used some different words, but I'm allowed to have my feelings just like them."
Well, probably
Okay.
what happened was her agent called and be like, "Oh, Leslie, why'd you do that?
Yeah.
We literally just got a phone call about you making an appearance in the
Thank
movie."
you. Yes, exactly.
But,
she doesn't know that she's not going to be in it, or none of them are going to be in it. Nobody knows that. There's no script. To
Well,
my
and the thing we
knowledge.
read said it was boys and girls acting in
Yes,
the movie, right?
exactly.
Well, actually, reading what was reported would make it sound like a Goosebumps kind of movie for like younger people. Like,
Sure hope not.
well, they
sure
said that
hope
they
not.
said the four main characters are young
Yeah.
teens.
Passing,
so-
remember, Chris was like, I sure hope it's not a passing of the torch. The article said, well, this will be a symbolic passing of the torch. Well, Leslie Jones, man, she was very upset. I think that I'm going to say this humbly, quietly, so that not everyone hears me. I think some of the lady folk sometimes very sensitive, maybe. Chris, you're not.
No, actually, I think it's the outrage culture now, and there's certain generations like what destroys people's perception of these actors, especially if you're an actress, is if you're the manager, you're like, don't ever go on Twitter, just delete Twitter, and then you have all these people like my favorite current one is that thing that happened over at the Lincoln Memorial with that kid wearing a "Make America Great Again" hat and the Indian, so many Native American. So many movie stars were like going like, "Who's this kid?" Punch him in the face, and now it turns out it really wasn't that big of a deal. And you have these movie stars saying this stuff, and people are like, "Why are you saying things about this kind of outrage stuff?"
Well, all four of the actors that were in the last Ghostbusters, all four of them are great.
Yeah.
And in their own right, they're great. That movie just didn't work. It
It
has
just wasn't
nothing
that
to
good.
do. It really wasn't. And it's the
Well, I
writing
think-
and the directing. It just
And
did
this
not
is gonna
work.
be a hot take. If someone
Hot take.
if someone presented the original Ghostbusters 1 and 2, those didn't seem to work, but somehow it ended up being a positive thing for the viewers.
Because there were men play. No, I'm just,
No, but you understand what I'm saying? Like, if you took that movie, most people were like, "Oh, it's okay," but somehow the magic that was created in the movie, people really were drawn to it. I can't explain why.
I just think to make this to act like it's Trump, like
I thought
Jason Reitman is
Yeah.
Trump going like, it's going to be better. They're not Ghostbusters. It's just like
Yeah.
that just
is
to me,
it
that's
me?
silly.
Is it me or is Bill Murray in like half the movies in acting like he doesn't want to be there?
I think part of his charm
is
is
that
like
part
his,
of the
part of
charm?
his deal.
yeah.
Because I felt like
He likes showing
because
up
I
at people's
rewatched.
weddings.
I haven't seen Ghostbusters 1 in since I was a kid. So I was like, why are so many people so pumped about?
Oh, it's great.
I know. I watched it. And I was like, there's a lot of magic to this movie. I can't explain why, but it's so cheesy, but yet they take some things so serious, certain scenes, and I was like, man, this is just an interesting, fun movie, not like today's interesting.
Well,
fun.
I think the reason it worked is because there was nothing like it.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything. It was funny. It had its moments of little jump scares, but as a whole, you hadn't really seen anything like it. And even to this day, there really isn't.
Yeah, I
anything
couldn't
like that
explain it
film.
though. I couldn't. I mean, it's kind of the whole thing
Now
just
this-
worked.
The second one, it is what it is. I mean, it's the four guys back together, and that story is kind of a little weak, but it's still a good movie.
I would say that this is probably not sexism, Leslie. If you're listening,
Well, didn't they do a little sexism with Hemsworth in that movie?
They did. Yeah,
I don't remember.
Well, he was like
He was the receptionist.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was kind of reversing all the tropes or whatever. And
Yeah,
to me,
and
like
that's fine.
I
That
saw that movie and it was okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the women wasn't like they were great. Like they were all great actresses. It's just the writing wasn't that. It felt kind of forced, and the writing wasn't quite there.
It was a very weak script and directed.
What it sounds like is they wanted to do the movie without a script, and then they're like, "Hey, can we do a script real quick? Because we want to do this movie."
Yeah, I think they definitely had the idea before.
Instead of having the script, I got this great idea. It's going to work really well. Because we talked about this on other podcasts about a full cast of women. Some movies work really well.
Oh, definitely.
With that. And so it's not like it's not unobtainable to have a movie that makes money that has all women.
There's some great movies about like cooking and some about like cleaning and things like that.
I mean, you really want to go for those shows.
You're gonna get us in trouble here.
I'm just kidding. There's so many movies with
I
strong
love women.
No, there's so many movies with like strong, female lead characters. The movie I talked about this year, eighth grade,
not even
had
lead
a
characters. About the whole cast is female.
Well, yeah, I
It's
mean,
a little different.
I mean, I saw Ocean's 8. I liked it a lot.
I thought Ocean's
That
8
was
was
good,
okay. I thought it was fine. I think to me that was another example of
Bad writing.
getting the movie before you have any like, okay, here we want this. No, let's make it fit. Versus, I think the best movies are ones where it's here's an idea that's really amazing. No, let's make it happen. And I think we're trying to kind of equalize things, which is great. It's all good. And but I think you're going to have a little bit of quality suffering maybe when you do it that direction. All right, let's move on. Forbes.com, Disney, most important movie of 2019. It's not Star Wars. It's not Aladdin. It's not Toy Story. It's not Avengers. It's a little movie called Artemis. Yeah, exactly. Artemis Fowl. Okay.
Okay.
Now, I've never.
It's a book. I'm told it's a book.
Well, I guess it's going to be a movie. I have not been told it's a book, but I don't read, so that's okay. Artemis Fowl. They're going to make a movie. Now, here's the point of the Forbes article, and I thought it was pretty compelling. Definitely a clickbaity title, but compelling article, which is that this is like a small mid-budget Disney movie. It's kind of an original idea is not quite right, but it's not a sequel to an existing Disney property that has a bunch of movies here. And the point of the article is if this movie doesn't do very well, Disney may very well turn its back on everything that's not a live-action remake, Avengers, or a cartoon sequel.
It almost kind of seems like they're doing it on purpose.
Putting this terrible movie there?
Well, not that the movie's terrible, but it's
Like, who
not
knows
gonna
about
be,
this?
It's going to be very difficult to. What I would do if I was them is put it up against like other kids' movies that are coming out at that time. Like from DreamWorks or somebody like that. You put them up against that, and it kind of hurts their grosses on it. So, yeah, I mean, they're almost kind of setting it up to fail. Like,
So you think they want it to be like dead in the water?
Well, I just don't see that there's going to be major numbers with this movie. And what's the number they're looking for?
They don't really care. If it does well, I bet even if it blows it up, like it makes 150 million overall, they're not going to. They might make a sequel, but I don't think it's going to be on their, annual thing. Going, we got to make this movie.
Well, or they could, justify if this movie fails, getting rid of that whole department that they don't even want to deal with anymore.
Yeah.
Not saying that's the case, but it could be the case.
I don't think the point, in my opinion, is to make a bunch of Artemis Fowl movies. Like, the point is, are they going to make these, like, kind of newer concept, mid-budget, which I think, to be fair, it's not just Disney. It's kind of all production companies seem to be cutting that middle, that, like, $40 to $80 million. Like, those movies seem to just be drying up. It's a lot of the low budget, 20 or less, and then the 100 or more.
Well, you're also talking about a genre that's kid-driven. And really what this is, I think what the article is trying to say is this genre is a 20 million kid movie is going to die.
Yeah.
And every kid movie coming out is going to be $100 million plus budget kid movie.
Tons of merchandise, tons of toys,
like
tons of everything.
It's got to work on all fronts.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't see a real big problem with that unless like you think movies like The Goonies and things won't be made because it doesn't fit the $100 million budget movie.
That's true. We haven't had a Goonies style movie in.
Well, I mean, people were saying Goosebumps and things, but Goosebumps wasn't.
No, nothing like that.
Well, but what they said was
No,
that
the original with Jack Black, not the
one thing the article
Well,
pointed to is
yeah,
that there may be
not like
there may be a place for that in the future, but it might be the Disney Plus service where they might then toy around with some of these kind of lower risk properties, But when it comes to theatrical release, they're just going to go big on the things that exist, and Paw Patrol is probably next up or something, or My Little Pony or Trolls 2 or
The
3 or
Backyardigans.
4, I don't know that one, but I'm sure
You don't
it's
know the
good.
Backyardigans?
No, dude. I'm either too young or too old for that.
I mean, I think really,
Pretty current.
I don't really know. On top of my head, I can think of any kids movie that was budgeted under $75 million.
Mac and Me.
Well, I mean that's
the heck is that?
that's old. That's
That's
old.
very old, yes.
Chris, you're so
But I'm
much
talking
older
about
than both
new.
of us.
I'm
We
talking
don't
about
You
know.
should
new.
look up Mac
'Cause
and
really-
Me.
really-
That should be the punishment movie,
What-
Mac and Me.
I've seen it. Really, you got animation movies that cost minimum $100 million to make those animation movies today, and then you have the live action ones that are like now just big epic movies that have to have 4 sequels to it. Maybe this Artemis Fowl, what it almost sounds like is they really wanted to push that 7 years ago, and then it kept getting pushed back because all those other movies that were books kept failing, couldn't repeat the Harry Potter box office success. So now it's just like, hey, we have this IP, we had this movie, we got some creative people out. Let's just see what happens.
I got one. Boom. Short Circuit. $9 million budget.
Oh, I love that movie.
That's a good movie.
But I thought that was over
Very
30
good.
years ago.
Okay, well,
That
do
doesn't
the
make
do
it any less
the
good.
do the math or
It's
whatever.
Johnny Five.
It still isn't like $100 million like
There
equivalent.
wasn't $100 million equivalent movie back then though.
Well,
Well-
I thought you just said there was no kids movies that were ever
They
under.
really made
I'm talking
those
about today.
robots.
Like
Oh,
think of the past 10 years equivalent to, besides animation movies, what kids movies has come out that's not like Disney Channel original that was like $20 million.
Coraline.
maybe I have no idea.
I don't know.
That sounds good. All right, I don't know. Okay, so we'll see how that goes. I mean, I think in general, movie theaters seem
Well,
to be.
listeners, help me out.
Yeah, there
I
you
would
go.
say in the past 5 years,
Tweet at him
what movies?
at the _ticket stub. Let us know what movies less than what $20 million. What kids movie?
Kids movie less
a
than
budget.
$20 million is not animation.
Okay, I guess we'll find out.
I mean, what Tom Green was that Green?
Tom Green.
My bum is on the rail. Or
No, Green
Daddy,
Thumb,
would you
or
like
what was
some
it?
sausage?
Life of Timothy Green.
I don't know, dude.
Oh yes, the Secret Life of Timothy Green.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
And the Book of Henry. We
That's where
watched
the kid
that.
had the,
Book of Henry. That was a kids movie.
That's
right?
not a kids movie at
No.
all.
That's where the kid had the plants coming out of his legs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I for sure did not see that.
Mm.
How come y'all haven't seen any like Oscar? Y'all haven't seen like a single Golden Globe contender, but you've both seen Mac and
See,
Me,
there we go.
and you've both seen
This just helped me
Timothy
out.
Green Thumb.
Well,
It was,
he's got-
it
he's got
was,
plants
it
coming
was
out of his
more.
legs.
It was more than 5 years ago, but the budget was 25 million.
He's got plant legs, man. You know, he's got
So,
plant legs.
and that's a
Yeah.
kid. That's the definition of a kids movie right there. What was that Bridge of Terabithia?
Oh
Let's
yeah,
figure out
Oh,
that
yeah.
one.
yeah, Bridge of Terabithia. That was a good book, bad movie. I think I didn't see it. All right.
Well, the sad thing is, I watched that with my niece and nephew, and I came in like halfway through, and I don't know if you know about the twist, but it was a hard twist for me because I was like, "Isn't this a kids movie?" And I was really thrown off by it. I was so confused. But
All right, real quick,
I'm
we're-
checking it out. I'm-
okay, well, check it out. We're the last article here. Let's just do a quick like kind of what are your takes? You know, we don't have to talk forever
yeah,
about it.
2025.
All right, Edgar Wright. Next movie is going to be a psychological horror film. If you don't know Edgar Wright, he did like Hot Fuzz. He did Shaun of the
So
Dead.
good, both of those. are
World,
so good.
The World's End or End of the World. I always get those two mixed up because
Yep.
they came out at the same time.
Yes, yeah.
Definitely not a psychological horror director generally. What do you think, Chris? Do you like it when these directors cross over and go kind of against type?
Yes, because I think if you have the talent, I think you can do pretty much whatever you want, and he's certainly proven that he can do that. So I'm all for it.
Dick, what do you think about Edgar Wright going psychological horror?
Oh, I think he's also been involved with a lot of different productions. And it's like I know he's shadowed, and he's one of those patron of the arts where he follows everyone involved in the industry. And I think he's going to have a lot of help from other people. And I mean, he's not a bad filmmaker at all.
No, definitely.
So
Well, I mean, he really revolutionized the zombie movie.
Oh, yeah.
for sure.
Shaun of the
And then
Dead's so good.
Hot Fuzz, like the buddy cop movie, completely different than a normal buddy cop movie. And End of the World was great. Such a weird story, just going to all these bars before try to make the
Yeah.
whatever. You know the plot. But if he can bring that to a psychological thriller, I think that's such a great thing.
I just like it because I feel like that means he must have something to, you know, like he's going to be invested. I think a lot of times directors kind of get on autopilot when they're just pumping out these genre films over and over again. And yeah, it'll be good. I like Edgar Wright. I usually see his movies, and so I'll be interested. I love a good psychological thriller too. I'm not a big horror guy, but a good thriller movie, I'm all in for. Well, cool. We're gonna go to break. Dick, did you figure it out? Whatever you're looking up
Yeah, it says 2025.
is the answer to what?
The Bridge of Terabithia. That's the cost of the movie in 2007. It was 20 to 25
2025
million.
Oh, okay. I was like, what do you, like the year 2020? Yeah, I didn't know what you were talking about. All right, 20 to 25 million. Cool. Let's go to break. When we come back, we're going to be rewinding the movie that we've seen over the last week. I saw Vice. Chris, what did you see?
I saw Leprechaun Returns.
Oh, dear Lord. Dick, what'd you see?
I saw The Mummy.
On TV?
The
Scorpion King?
No, the temper. Or was it Dragon
Oh,
Emperor?
I never saw that one. Okay. Is that Jet Li or something?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
It's the Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. Sorry.
Of course it is. All right, and later in the show, we're going to be playing short synopsis. So stick around here on the Ticket Stub.
The Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service has been dedicated to educating Texans for over a century. In 1915, the Extension Program was established under the federal Smith-Lever Act to deliver university knowledge and agricultural research findings directly to the people. Ever since, AgriLife Extension programs have addressed the emerging issues of the day, serving diverse populations across the state. Texans turn to Extension for solutions in horticulture, agriculture, 4-H and youth, and family and consumer sciences. Extension agents respond not only with answers, but also with resources and services that result in significant returns on investment to boost the economy. Join us Fridays at 1 o'clock for the AgriLife Extension Hour.
Don't forget to download the Lone Star Community Radio app for your Google Play or Apple Store. Bring Montgomery County's community radio with you anywhere with your smartphone or tablet. If you are in the Conroe area, tune in on FM. That is Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1.
We're back on the Ticket Stub. If you missed this last segment, we talked about, is the new Ghostbusters reboot sexist? Leslie Jones seems to think maybe so. We talked about Disney's most important movie could be Artemis Fowl, testing whether small budget is still in Disney's purview. And then we talked a little bit about Edgar Wright doing a psychological thriller. Now we're going to do the rewind. This is the part of the show where we talk about the movies that we've seen over the last week. Chris, you said you saw Dirty Leprechauns or something? What'd you see?
I saw Leprechaun Returns.
Okay. Have you seen Leprechaun 1?
I have seen all of the Leprechaun movies.
Of
yes.
course you have. Of course.
I'm a huge Leprechaun fan. This turns out Leprechaun Returns is the latest Leprechaun movie, but it was sci-fi. It was for the sci-fi channel.
Okay, just run me through how many leprechauns and what are they all called? Do you know off the top of your head?
Yes, I
Okay.
do. Do you want me to do it?
Yeah, sure.
There's Leprechaun, Leprechaun 2, Leprechaun 3. He's in Vegas. Leprechaun in space. Leprechaun 4 is Leprechaun in space.
Okay.
Oh man, now you're gonna get me. I think Leprechaun 5 is Leprechaun in the Hood.
Oh, I've heard of that one.
That one is great.
Okay.
And then
By great,
Leprechaun.
you mean like not actually great.
Oh, it's awesome.
Okay.
It's a great movie. I almost swore. That's how good it is. And then Leprechaun Back to the Hood, because Leprechaun in the Hood was so successful. They made it.
Oh, he goes back to the hood.
He goes back to the Hood. Not as good,
Okay.
but and then
Is
there's
he like smoking some J's and stuff in the hood, the leprechaun?
yes he is. One of his lines is, "A friend with weed is a friend indeed."
The leprechaun says that?
Leprechaun says that.
Does he
Yes.
say it in a leprechaun accent? Because that would be pretty
Yes, he
great.
does.
Okay.
Yeah, he did, but I'm not gonna do it.
Okay. Please.
And then of course Leprechaun Origins, which is a horrible piece of crap. And then you get to this one, Leprechaun Returns.
So this is the most recent
It's
leprechaun.
the most recent, but it was for Sci-Fi, the Sci-Fi channel.
Oh, they made it.
yeah, they
So
did.
you know it's good.
Well, we'll see.
Okay.
But anyway, the plot is, as if you need to be told, the Leprechaun returns once again.
What?
Yes, when a group of girls unwillingly awaken him when they tear down a cabin so they can build a new sorority house.
This is just an airtight plot.
It is.
So why did they want to build a sorority house in the middle of the wilderness?
I would, because it was far enough off campus, something like that.
It's like a party?
Yeah.
Oh,
kinda like that,
okay.
yeah.
Little did they know.
Yeah.
Leprechaun burial ground.
Well, he was in a well. It's
Okay.
from the first movie. Yeah, it's they disavow all the other Leprechaun movies and just make.
Oh,
this,
Leslie
like,
Jones was pissed.
yeah, like it's Leprechaun too.
She's like, you didn't even ask me about this, Trump voice.
Yeah, but you know the guy that plays the Leprechaun, Warwick Davis, or Warwick as they say in England, he did not come back for this one. This was it's a brand new guy, and he didn't want to come back because he's starting a family and doesn't want to do horror movies because of his little kids.
Oh.
I don't know. But but he's already done them,
Bad
so the
time.
kids are.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was a little confused about that, but it's a new guy, a new leprechaun, and the actor's name is Lyndon Porco.
How is this not offensive to people in 2019? Like having little people, because they're little people, right? The
Yeah.
leprechauns,
Mhm.
and calling them. I don't know. I just feel like dressing them up. Isn't this like cultural appropriation or whatever? Making little people play a leprechaun.
I don't know, but
But I guess if you made a tall person play it, they'd probably be mad that like you're taking their
Well,
job.
it's kind of like a fantasy film, and they chose to have hobbits not be small people. It's kind of horrible.
Yeah, it's like when trans
is
people don't get to
true.
play trans roles. Like I guess you're
So-
stealing their jobs. I guess.
I mean, in Willow, they let a small person play a small person.
and that was Warwick Davis,
Yeah,
that's
so I
nice.
mean,
the leprechaun.
Glorious movie.
So
apparently he's the
full
only
circle.
able actor besides the guy from Game of Thrones
And you
who
know-
can be small and
He can be
actually
anything.
act.
He was
Yeah.
also R2D2 in the
So-
Warwick
original
Davis
Star
was?
Wars. Yes, he was.
And now that Vern Troyer's gone,
No, I'm
I
sorry.
guess
He was
that
Wicket.
really.
He was Wicket. He was Wicket. Boy, I'm going to get some bad fan mail on that one.
I don't think you will.
He was Wicket the Ewok. There's another guy that does the R2D2. But anyway,
Okay.
I can't really do my rapid fire review because there's only really one. And it's
There's
Adam-
only one review.
Well, there's.
Can we write one?
It's 40% on Rotten Tomatoes, but there's only like 5 reviews. Adam Peterson from Film Pulse. With its bare bones plot, lackluster characters, and foolish adherence to slasher tropes, Leprechaun Returns is a film that should well have been left at the bottom of the well.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is there any pots of gold involved in these movies?
There is, yes, every single one is a
Oh,
pot of
there
gold.
is.
That's the thing. Somebody ends up taking the leprechaun's gold. He gets mad because he can't, and he even knows when one piece is missing. And then he goes after people to get his gold back. That's when he goes through the killing and everything. But Lyndon Porco,
So is he like a jerk or is he just misunderstood? Like sometimes
if
it's
you're
like
fair, he's fair. But that's the best way I can. He just doesn't want you to take his gold. He's pretty much cool if you don't.
Hey,
Because with Leprechaun in the Hood, he's hanging out with tons of people. He has like tons of friends, and then
but they're taking his gold for sure though, right?
well,
The hood
eventually
people?
they do. Yeah,
Okay,
eventually,
yeah.
then they get in trouble there. But Lyndon Porco.
Do they
had-
make grills out of his gold in the hood?
I don't remember.
Okay.
But
Sorry,
that's
I'm getting you off track of this movie.
Lyndon
I'm very
Porco-
interested in the whole Leprechaun
Yes.
universe.
It's awesome. You should watch it. But Lyndon Porco, he had big shoes to fill when he's taken over for Warwick Davis. Excuse the pun, but he did a really good job. He kind of does like not really an imitation of Warwick Davis, but it's very close to what you would expect from the Leprechaun. And of course, there's a guy from the original one. His name is Mark Holton. He plays Ozzy. He's like a special needs painter in the first one. He comes back for this one. He was in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, the guy that has the swimming pool, it's a bathtub, but it's like a swimming pool.
Yeah, I
and
don't
he's-
remember.
He's
much
trying to
about
get Pee-wee's, a bicycle.
that. Okay.
So
This is an all-star cast.
it is, but he comes back. So
It's got that guy from Pee-wee's Big Adventure in it.
yeah, he's such a cool actor, and it was nice to see
It's
him
a
come
cult
back.
film following.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, they have a movie in the hood.
2. You weren't listening. He returns to the hood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's two in the hood. But this movie very much plays into like teenagers today. There are many times throughout the movie where the leprechaun is asked to take a selfie with one of the people because they don't
So
know.
culturally
like
aware.
they're so drunk, like they just see the leprechaun behind them. They're like, "Oh man, dude, take a selfie!" And the leprechaun's taking a selfie, and he does like this and stuff.
And then he kills him.
Yeah, but
In the next Leprechaun movie, they steal his Bitcoin and he gets really mad.
yeah. But it was kind of cool, the callbacks to the original movie, because it takes place on the land and the house that the original movie took place. I'm going to, is it a great movie? No. But if you're a Leprechaun fan, there's enough there. I wish it would have not really been a sci-fi movie because there's a lot of gore and a lot of, other bad stuff they could have done that they didn't really do.
Oh, it was a little more watered down or whatever.
A little bit watered down, but it certainly is entertaining.
Does he
And
get-
Lyndon Porco, I think he can definitely do another one.
Does he get his gold back? Or you'll have to watch to find out.
I can't remember. I think. Well, I don't want to give it
It's a
away.
sign
I
of
don't
a
want to
great
give it
movie.
away. He always gets destroyed in some fashion, but he always comes back.
Okay, he gets destroyed at the sorority party,
Yeah,
right, guys?
I believe
Yeah.
he gets caught on fire, but I don't know. I think that's what
Dang, well, that sounds like a rough go, Lyndon.
happens.
All right, Leprechaun Return.
Leprechaun Returns.
Man, can't wait for the next one. All right.
I can't either. I didn't even know they made this. I stumbled across
It
it.
should be Leprechaun Returns again. That'd be a good title.
Leprechaun Returns to the Hood.
Returns.
That's-
Returns back to the hood.
Returns back to the Hood.
Okay. A whole trilogy of just hood Leprechaun movies.
Yeah.
And then they could do Leprechaun in Malibu
Oh, and the Boo.
or in the OC.
You know, I will say this.
with Misha Barton.
Or in Hollywood.
If you have insomnia and you need something to put you to sleep, Leprechaun 4, Leprechaun in Space will do it every time.
Okay.
That is an atrocious film.
That is a ringing endorsement.
Yes.
All right. Unlike the other Leprechauns, Leprechaun 4
Oh, yeah,
is
the rest of them
terrible.
are great. Leprechaun
Yeah.
in Vegas, kind of stretching it. But
Does he win? There's got to be a scene where he's at the gambling table and wins money.
of course.
Okay, gotcha. Dick, what did you see?
I saw the 2008 sequel to The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor.
This show is such a service to our listeners here, guys.
And well, I want to let them know this is on Netflix,
Okay.
and I am a fan of that Mummy series with Brandon Fraser.
Brendan. Yeah.
Brendan, thank you. And
All
I think Rob Cohen. Did Rob Cohen do all of them?
I do
I
not
think
know.
he did. He man,
Those were the movies that were like always on TBS when I was in high school.
really
Like 20, it felt like they were 24/7. There was some mummy. Like when I was a teenager, you could always turn the TV on and a mummy movie would be on.
All right, so I'm looking at it right now. He did not direct the other movies, but to give you an idea,
Is he a Cohen brother?
no,
Oh, okay.
he's actually done some wonderful movies. He's directed Dragonheart.
Oh,
He
I like that
He
movie.
has produced The Running Man.
One of my earliest memories is going to a birthday to see Dragonheart.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's
lucky.
He's directed
lucky.
the
It might have been at the Grand Theater.
The Running Man. He's also directed
We were not open at that.
sequels. He's also directed movies like Triple X and Stealth, and of course, the best movie ever made, The Fast and the Furious original.
Oh, baby.
Oh, wow.
So this guy,
I like how you say he's made some wonderful movies.
he's made some wonderful movies, and he's been around in the industry since 1980. Like he's directed some Miami Vice, original Miami Vice episodes.
Oh,
So he's
yeah.
done action. He's done those kind of things. So
He's done romance.
He's,
Fast
I
and the
mean,
Furious.
yeah, he's done it.
Eating that
He's done
sandwich,
it
man.
all. This movie stars Brendan Fraser as Rick O'Connell. He's back. Jet Li as the new Emperor. Maria Bello, who replaces Rachel Weisz's
Yes.
character.
Do they just act like she's the same girl?
They literally have a line where she's doing a book reading, and someone asks her, "It's like, oh, do you feel like that you're writing this character in your story because it's based off you?" And she's like, "No, sometimes I feel like I'm a completely different person." And it literally shows her face.
But
And I liked it. I was like, you know what? At least they acknowledged it and they kept going.
moving on.
And
Rachel Weisz is too expensive for these movies.
well, no, I immediately went online and started seeing why. Basically, the only thing that seemed credible to me is she just didn't really like the script because the son is now grown up, and now he's 21 years old in the story. And it basically, she said she thought it was preposterous that she would have a 20-year-old son playing for her, and she doesn't look like she's that old.
You're gonna pick apart a mummy movie script?
Well, I mean,
I don't know about
I
that.
don't. I mean, I understand why they did the 21-year-old thing because that's the love story in this. Is he meets, of course, an immortal.
He falls in love with Jet Li.
Falls in love with a woman who cursed Jet Li.
Oh,
And
gosh, these movies are so stupid.
so
Yeah.
Could they do a mummy leprechaun hybrid?
John Hannah returns
should.
as the lovable brother of Evelyn O'Connell, who's the kind of the
Oh
the
yeah,
funny
yeah. He's
guy.
like drunk and everything
he's
and
drunk,
funny.
the drunken guy. And
Is that really like cryptic, like Pakistani guy? You know who I'm talking about from the first two that has like
no,
paint on his
actually,
face?
he said he declined to be in this movie because Emotep wasn't going to be featured, and he felt his character was to watch over Emotep.
What
He's
is
like,
wrong with these actors? Do they not like money? Like seriously?
Well,
there's a point where
He's a purist, Chris. If Emotep is not there,
He
he's
is
out.
not.
well, the only thing I
Okay,
could tell you,
man.
the only thing I could tell you that what kind of alarms me about this movie was the one made before this one, this is 2008, was The Scorpion King, and that was in 2002. So 1999 is when the first Mummy came out. 2001 is The Mummy Returns, and then 2002 is The Scorpion King with The Rock. That bombed.
So good.
So it's kind of alarming that someone goes, 6 years later, let's continue this franchise, and that's probably why they didn't join. Really,
Kind of moved on.
because they're like, hey, we moved on. Like I don't really care, and
And I'm not sure Rachel Weisz was I don't think she was who she is now when the Mummy came out.
The
You know?
original Mummy.
The original Mummy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that
if
was
anything,
her.
she's less famous now, don't you think?
No, she's
No, but
I think she's won an Oscar at
yeah.
this time.
I mean,
Has she?
she's been.
Constant Gardner. I thought she won for the Constant Gardner.
I think or at least was nominated.
Yeah.
She's been in several other Oscar caliber movies,
Yeah.
but they're a lot smaller. I mean, she's in more of like The Favorite, like we talked I think off air. The Favorite is gonna be up. It's winning Golden Globes and it'll win some Oscars. She probably won't, but I mean,
Well, to give you an idea, numbers wise for this movie, it cost 145 million,
That's a lot.
and it made 401 million.
Goodness gracious.
So it made a good amount of money. And actually, there was gonna make a fourth one about the land of the Aztecs, starring Antonio Banderas.
Oh.
And they decided not to do it. And then, of course, we got the gem from Tom Cruise, The Mummy.
Yeah.
And
Which was not good.
That's a shame that didn't work though.
so this is why I like these kind of movies, because this IP is going to be around forever, because it's a neat tale. Not so much the Dragon's Emperor, because they made this all up. This wasn't based off like an actual emperor or anything like that. Actually, the coolest thing they did involve those terracotta warriors and why they're clay.
Do they come to life?
They worked that into the curse.
I saw those
So-
in person.
So really,
You did?
Yeah, I
Well,
think it was here.
Actually, that opening
Oh.
scene.
So not like the
So,
ones in India.
Let
right?
me give
well,
you.
they brought 'em.
Let me give you the
All of 'em?
synopsis real quick.
A lot of 'em.
Let me.
Hey.
Hey, stop talking.
Sorry, terracotta, that's pretty cool.
So the synopsis is: in the Far East, Alex O'Connell, the son of famed mummy fighter Rick and Evie O'Connell, unearths the mummy of the first emperor of Quinn, a shape-shifting entity cursed by a witch centuries ago. Well,
Oh
They had
no!
witches back like in
well,
Egypt.
This isn't from Egypt. Jet Li's like Chinese. or
well, that
whatever.
was kind of interesting about the opening scene is
Oh.
showing Jet Li, and he's a fearless leader that is gone crazy. He wants to kill everything, blah 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 blah. And this witch curses him and the army, and they all turn into mud, basically. And that scene was kind of cool because it explains why the terracotta warriors are there and all that stuff. But the movie itself, it doesn't seem as tight, and it's kind of hard to
Really?
say. Well, the Mummy was to me, the Mummy like mimicked a lot of what made Indiana Jones kind of movies exciting.
Yeah, it was fun.
And this movie tried to do it, but then it got I don't know how to put it. Like it got too out of control.
Did it have the black beetles that would crawl over you and eat you?
No.
Those were a good part of the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it unless you see the Mummy and the Mummy Returns. It just didn't seem as much fun. And I think really the crux of it is not having Rachel Weisz back in the movie, and also forcing you to watch the son fall in love with a immortal assassin. That was kind of far fetched. But then again, these movies are kind of far fetched, so I didn't really let that bother me too much.
Sometimes I
But-
feel like I fell in love with an immortal assassin, don't you?
Well, I mean, it was just like they had the meet
Just
cute.
kidding, love.
They had the meet cute scene, and
Much
it was
love.
just so like really already they just started to kill each other, and they're like, no, who's
I like when they're
this?
fighting and they like lock swords
Well,
and
no,
then
that's
give
what
each
I'm
other
saying.
an eye where
They're
it's like,
literally-
ooh.
no, there's a moment when she has like the mask on,
She banged.
and then it like falls off, and he's like,
Oh, he thought it was a boy or something?
oh, he's like, oh, it's a woman,
Oh, she's hot.
and yeah,
And,
then,
he's already in love with her before he sees the face.
Well, no, he's in love with her. Like right after that, he's like, oh, this person who tried to slit my throat. I wonder who she is.
Dude, he-
Yeah, but we're kind of all like that.
He loves her
aren't
moves though, man. Yeah.
we? I think we're kind of all like
Yeah.
Well, I mean, first time I met Holly, she tried to murder me. So,
that. Yeah.
There we
Yeah,
go.
that's
why I
Yeah.
married
There we
her.
go. So that really resonated with
but
you then.
what was funny though to me is Jet Li was pretty big at this time. It's 2008, and he literally is in the movie as himself, like actual Jet Li in the flesh. I would say 18% of the movie, 15%. The rest of the movie, it's literally a terracotta warrior Jet Li running around town, breathing fire, and just being a mummy.
Pretty sick though. Pretty sick.
But overall,
Terracotta Jet Li.
this movie is definitely the worst of the three. It's on Netflix, so if you have Netflix streaming, I honestly, I really didn't think there was a lot of risk going on in the movie because we've already survived 2 mummy attacks, and then the
Yeah.
Scorpion King we survived. So I think that's also kind of missing from the movie. There wasn't a lot of risk in the movie.
Just to be clear, we didn't survive the Scorpion King. Okay, he saved us in the Scorpion.
Did he at the end?
He was the good guy, the Scorpion King.
Well, they made him the good guy after Mummy 2. Mummy 2, they made him sound like he's
The Mummy too, he was a bad guy.
Yeah.
But then Scorpion King, the prequel, he's a good guy.
They explained what his sacrifice was.
Yeah, he did something. I forget. I don't know. He shot somebody with an arrow.
Well,
or
like to
something.
give you an idea, there was in this movie they had a great turn of events where Rick O'Connell dies.
Oh.
I was like, congratulations, we went for it, guys. Keep it. No, within 5 minutes he's back to life.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, because you have mummies and you have the one woman who's immortal, who the witch
Yeah.
brings him back because everyone's got the pool of eternity behind them, and
course.
so I thought that was kind of BS.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
I think you're overanalyzing the Mummy 3 a little bit.
Well, you know what? you know, in the end, I like this kind of movie, and I
Yeah?
was disappointed in that.
Okay, well, I'm
He
sorry.
should have died at the very beginning, and because
Just stay dead.
that's what I kind of liked. The last Indiana Jones, like Harrison's Ford characters put in a pickle because they shot his dad, and it's like he's gonna die if you don't go do this. They could have done something like that. No, they're like, oh, he's just gonna die. What do we do? Well, I heard there's a pool that resurrects you, and it's just right up the mountain.
That's convenient.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I liked about the other movie. Like, there has to be risk, and it's like,
Yeah.
all right,
All right, cool. Mummy 3, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor.
yeah, the Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor.
Sweet, nailed it. All right, I'm just going to talk for a couple minutes about the movie Vice, which
Oh gosh, I want to see that.
still in theaters, right, Chris?
Not at mine because I only have half the.
Oh,
theater
because y'all
going.
are getting the comfortable seats at the Grand
Yes,
Theater, everyone,
yes.
and Amstar, sponsored by the Grand Theater and Amstar Cinemas.
Yes.
Grand Theater in Conroe is upgrading to comfy seats. What's
Yes.
the not the hashtag comfy seats? Can you get that going?
Yeah.
Sure. All right.
Hashtag head clamps.
Oh. Yeah, really. No kidding.
Do not drop your phone, guys. That will be the last thing you ever do. Okay, Vice.
You know it's gonna happen too.
Oh.
Some poor schmuck
At
is-
Chris's
They're
theater.
working there, and they're like, Chris,
No.
somebody's stuck.
No. Well, they're only increasing alcohol sales and the mechanical ability of the chairs at the
Yes,
same time.
for What Women Want, the movie comes out. It comes out February 8th. We're gonna sell sangria.
Huh,
Oh.
What Women Want? The
That movie's been out.
I'm sorry. What Men Want, the Taraji P Henson movie.
Oh, sounds
Yeah, we're
sounds
gonna
like
be
a winner.
selling sangria. It was just a kind of a mixed drink. We haven't really done that before, so we're excited about it.
All right,
Are you
sangria,
Are
baby.
you gonna have like an ice block there, where you pour it and it mixes it for you?
I don't know what that
Not
means.
really.
You never
I
seen
mean,
an
it's-
ice block sculpture? You never seen
I've
that?
seen an ice
No.
sculpture, but not that makes sangria for you.
Yeah.
Maybe, that's not a cool sculpture.
No, you never seen that? Like they do martinis and stuff like that. They have like the giant ice block, and at the very top they poured the mixers.
No,
Oh,
that's not
when
happening.
it
No.
and
fuses in the middle?
It
No.
chills it as it goes down.
Well, that seems
So it's
very
like-
expensive.
I've seen like a shot flume or whatever, where you just pour like a straight like alcohol and it slides and then people drink it.
Oh, that's really safe and sanitary.
It's neither of those things. Vice 2018. This is rated R. In most theaters now, unless they're getting upgraded to hashtag comfy seats. The plot on IMDb: the story of Dick Cheney, an unassuming bureaucratic Washington insider who quietly wielded immense power as the vice president to George W. Bush, reshaping the country and the globe in ways that we still feel today. So this has a huge cast, I would say. Christian Bale, Amy Adams, Steve Carell, Sam Rockwell, Allison Pill, Eddie Marson, who you'd recognize for sure. Jesse Plemons is kind of strange as the narrator, I would say, throughout. Tyler Perry is Colin Powell. And then,
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I did not know that.
and a lot of other recognizable faces. And directed by Adam McKay. Now, Adam McKay is well known from his days with Will Ferrell.
Yes.
And then most recently, and probably most critically, from The Big Short. I guess that was last year, or was that the year before?
A couple years ago.
A couple years ago. The
But
Big
Anchorman was better reviewed.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Okay, yeah. Well, Adam McKay and Will Ferrell made a bunch of comedies, and then he came out last year with The Big Short. It was one of those. Speaking of, changing genres for a director, that was definitely a genre shift. And then this movie, what I'll say about Vice, they treat it very much like everything they're saying is true. I don't know the history. It's very one-sided. I mean, it's very slanted in one direction. Very slanted to the left, I would say. That you leave this movie feeling like Dick Cheney must be one of the most sociopathic people that has ever lived. That was my feelings leaving the movie. I don't know a ton about him. It makes George W. Bush seem like a buffoon and a puppet, and it blames, I think, some of what's wrong with our country today on Dick Cheney. It definitely doesn't say that like 9/11 was his doing, but it was definitely an opportunity for him to gain some power. And it's just, yeah, he's played very like sociopathic is the only word I can use. Like he doesn't react normally to different situations, things like that. Christian Bale, I mean, very well acted. Sam Rockwell as George W. Bush. Sam Rockwell's one of
he's
my
great.
favorites, and he does a good job there as George W. And I would say my biggest criticism of Vice, besides if you're like my dad and watch Fox News all the time, do not go to this movie. Do not go to this movie because you will hate it. All right. If you're a hardcore, red stater, you will hate this movie. if you're a big time liberal, you'll probably love it. If you're in the middle, find your own way.
Well, that's one thing I wanted to ask you because I knew you were going to see this movie. Is two things. It's like it's a double-edged sword when you make movies like this because you show what you think is what it's already happened, and then you're talking about a man who achieved so much. I mean, this guy's been involved in politics since I think late 70s.
Yeah, something like that.
And what's funny to me is it's almost like now every vice president, because vice president has always been kind of the joke position.
Yeah.
And now it's showing, oh, hey, it's not a joke. There's this dude who actually ran the country from being vice president. So anyone could really do that.
Yeah, and to be fair, like maybe he did. Like I was not really at all involved in politics, and still often am not. I don't know how involved he was. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't really know the history of it all, but it definitely paints a picture in a certain direction. What I'll say is my biggest criticism of this movie, just from like movie making standpoint for Adam McKay, is that the parts of The Big Short that I thought were like really creative and cool and funny at times were like just these little gags they would do throughout the movie.
Oh, to explain things?
Yeah, either explain things or like just like a cutaway scene or like breaking the fourth wall and looking right at the camera and talking. And this movie to me felt like he knew that was good, was really good, and he tried to recreate it, but it just didn't quite. I don't know. Maybe it was the second time around, or maybe it just wasn't as creative this time. There was one great scene where it's about halfway through the movie. His whole family and his daughter's a lesbian, and he's like trying to squash that a lot throughout, or like treat her kind of unfairly because he's Republican, and gay marriage wasn't. Anyways, and so they're all sitting around this like lake, and they bought this house in like Vermont or whatever, and all of a sudden they all look at each other, and he's like, nope, I'm not going to do it. Ah, ha, ha, ha. I'm going to stay here with you guys, and we're going to have a great family together. And the credits like legit start rolling, as they're all like skipping rocks and stuff like that. And then it's like, definitely not what happened. Yeah, anyways, it's a pretty funny gag in the movie. But other than that, I felt like some of the gags were a little bit forced. The acting, really good. Steve Carell's great. Amy Adams is great. Sam Rockwell, great. Christian Bale, I'm sure he'll win an Oscar.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. He has the whole like, changes his appearance.
Yeah, so what I'm confused about the appearance side of it is he gained a ton of weight, but they also put a fat suit on him.
Okay,
well?
I don't know. I don't know everything about the making. I know
his face
he
does not look real.
I know he really gained some weight. There's no way he gained enough weight to look like. So they must have added he was kind of like neck jowly, like how sometimes overweight people can be. I imagine that's probably prosthetic. I bet that he had a big tummy. I bet that was probably real. But some of the facial stuff was probably not. There was some cutaways back to when he looks like Christian Bale, and then some future or present day or past, present, whatever. And he looked very different. I mean, he looked like Dick Cheney. I mean, he really did.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, very interesting. Worth checking out. Probably it's going to be up for some awards. So definitely you'll want to check it out if you're somebody like me who likes to try to see all those. So, anyways, Vice in most theaters now. Unless #comfy seats.
Yeah. Do you think movies like that have some influence on people, or do you think it's just kind of a?
Oh, I'm sure that they do. Plenty of people probably who don't ever go do any. I mean, like you just see it and you think like, well, all right.
I think if it's a movie about a current person, like whenever Dinesh D'Souza does his like anti everything,
Obama's America,
right? Exactly. I think those kind of things do have an influence. This being so far removed probably doesn't.
Well, because what kind of alarms me, because like I know a little bit about the Dick Cheney, who he was. I know he is it seemed like kind of like a bad dude. But then again, it's like, well, if we're gonna make a movie glorifying him, like it's just kind of weird to me.
I would not say that this movie glorified Dick Cheney.
Well, glorify his bad deeds.
I guess. I mean, it was. I think it was pretty slanted in the telling. It made him seem like a bad person, I would say.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Glorified it.
Oh, okay. Is that glorified?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like when you it's kind of like you're trying to peg him as a horrible person, but like today, what do we want to happen to horrible people?
Yeah, I mean, I think there was definitely some like brushstrokes to Trump, and I mean, like all of this is because of, or I mean, things like that. And so I think it was appealing to an audience, and I'm sure that that's part of why it's been so well reviewed. But the acting legitimately is really good.
Because remember when W came out and how like controversial that was somewhat? Because wasn't he a sitting president while that movie came out?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
So I remember because it's one of those subjects that you don't really know the truth about, and then when you give that pen to that guy, go write this down because this is history. It's just one of those things that makes you think, like, is this the true story? Because clearly, like everyone making that movie probably hates everything that has to do with Dick Cheney. So it's kind of funny to me that when Christian Bale makes a statement at the Golden Globes. I'm like, didn't they pay you millions of dollars to play this character?
Yeah.
Like, really, guy? Yeah. And that to me is conflicted with what he said. But it's weird. It's weird that movies get made like this.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it on our last show. I think they're making a lot of movies about people that are not yet dead, and that is kind of strange.
Yeah,
I'm sure for Dick Cheney, unless he's a sociopath, if he watches this movie, I'm sure it will be quite strange for him to see.
Well, and it's also, when you saw the movie, did you think it was a comedy drama?
I thought it was going to be funnier than it was. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there was some moments that were funny and some that tried to be funny, and I thought it was going to be more like The Big Short, I guess. Funny like The Big Short, where it was probably a little bit less that way. Anyways, all right, let's go to break. When we come back, we're going to play Short Synopsis, where Dick and Chris are going to go head to head, and the loser will get assigned a movie by the winner to talk about on the next show. So stick with us here on the Ticket Stub.
Let's begin now.
A Lone Star Community Radio is ready for the summer. If you or anyone you know is looking for summer internship opportunities, a Lone Star Community Radio is a great place to grab the mic and be on the air. A Lone Star Community Radio offers a great opportunity to those interested in learning about the radio world all year round. Be an on-air personality, talk show producer, or YouTube, TV, podcast editor. Contact the station at info@irlonestar.com or call the station's message line at 936-647-3776.
Listen in Mondays at noon to hear Conroe news from local nonprofits, businesses, upcoming events, Conroe Park events, news stories, and information that matters to you with your host, Margie Taylor of Taylorized PR. For more information about being a guest, visit irlonestar.com/Conroe Culture.
We're back on the Ticket Stub. You missed this last segment. We rewound some Leprechaun movie, some Mummy movie, and then Vice. Earlier in the show, we had some news that we talked about, movie news. You should go back and check that out if you missed it. And now we're going to play a game called Short Synopsis. So here's the deal. I will give Chris and Dick each an IMDb synopsis of a movie, one word at a time. I'm not going to actually be like, one word at. But I'm going to kind of say it, and if it's a critical part, I'll slow it down.
And we have to yell it out first.
First to guess the movie. I think you need to say your name as like a buzzer, okay? So like say Chris, and then I'll say, okay, and then you can guess it. Because if you start yelling, it's going to be chaos, right?
Sure.
Well, how does that not make sense to you?
I hope I remember my name.
Yeah. Like say Chris, and I'll stop reading, because then if it's not it, if you're just yelling out words, I need to know how to stop. So we're going to do it that way. So just yell your name as your buzzer. And winner picks a movie for the loser next week.
Can't we just make a noise like meow?
Okay, fine. You can make a noise if you would like, or you can say your name, whichever you would like to do.
I don't like yelling out my own name. Sometimes I do.
Same way to make this complicated.
Just go.
Okay,
meow.
just do whatever y'all want. Make a
Raise a hand. First person to raise their hand.
Well, that's not very good audio for those who are listening. Raise your hand.
Then you go.
I'm gonna make a noise.
Chris got it first. Go.
Okay, y'all do whatever you want to signal
I'm
me,
gonna
make a noise, raise a hand, scream your name, and then we'll. Yeah, you can tap the mic. There you go. That'll be good.
Yeah, for the people with headphones.
It's right. Yeah, burst their eardrums. The theme is that I Googled top movies of 2018, and I picked most of the ones that were first on the Google list. So these will all be movies from 2018. They're some of the most popular movies from the year. So I'm hoping that as people who keep up with movies and maybe even run movie theaters, y'all will be aware of all of these, at least the plot. All right, are y'all ready? All right, let me get my scorecard ready. And be also thinking about like what you're going to assign each other. And then actually come the next week with that movie having been watched, Chris, which seems to be...
Well, don't give me something you can't find anywhere.
What was the punishment movie from last game?
I'm not watching the dog movie until you watch Princess Mononoke.
Yeah, Dog Purpose. To be fair, we're
I'm not
recording on a short week.
Watch that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, both of y'all are let down. But here we go. All right. So you make a noise, do whatever, raise your hand, and signal me here. And I'll do it one word at a time. T'Challa. What? What is it?
Black Panther.
Ding, 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 ding. Black Panther. T'Challa, heir to the hidden but advanced kingdom of Wakanda, must step forward to lead his people into a new future.
Okay.
Blah, 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 blah. 1 point for Chris. They're not all that easy, okay? That's the name of the main character is the first one.
That was my one.
A musician. Chris.
Star is Born.
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, what?
A musician helps a younger singer find fame. Even his age and alcoholism send his own career into a downward spiral.
You don't have to go through that.
Oh, I like to. All right, here we go. In early. No fart. Okay. In early 18th century, England, a frail queen. Chris?
The favorite?
The favorite. That's right. Oh, Dick, this isn't going well. Oh, a frail queen against her close friend, blah, 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 blah. All right. In a post-apocalyptic. Chris.
Ready Player One?
No!
Oh!
All right, now you have to be quiet. Well, no, you don't. That's not fair. In a post-apocalyptic world, a
Well,
fam...
no, basically, what should happen is he's not allowed to answer until I answer, and if I get it wrong, he.
Correct.
Okay,
That's
fine.
Yeah.
In a post-apocalyptic world, a family is forced to live in silence.
Doggone it.
Oh, Quiet Place.
Ding, 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 ding. Quiet place. Yeah, you see, that's the double-edged sword of guessing a little early.
Yes, it is, yeah.
All right, I think this one's going to be hard. Maybe not. Ron Stallworth, an African-American. Who's that? Was that you? What is it?
Us?
No.
Not us.
Chris. Oh, Chris.
Green Book.
No.
Oh.
Okay, so now it's Dick's turn. An African-American police officer from Colorado Springs, Colorado, successfully manages to infiltrate the local Ku Klux Klan branch.
Oh, Black KKsman or something like that?
Oh, I'll give it to him. Black
Oh,
Klansman.
all
That's
right,
right. All right, it's 2-3. Dick is making a little bit of a comeback here. All right, you're both live, okay? Both able to guess here. After the family matriarch passes away, a grieving family is haunted by tragic.
Hereditary.
Ding, 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 ding.
You didn't buzz in.
You,
Yeah, I
didn't.
did.
You didn't make the fart noise,
Yeah,
but
I didn't know
I'm
that.
gonna.
You just couldn't hear it.
Oh, it's 3-3, Chris. This is gonna be such a
He didn't
letdown.
buzz
This is
in.
gonna be such a letdown if you blow this on 3-0. All right.
Not the buzzing. I just say it.
Oh no, that's not fun.
That's my buzz.
That's not fun. A biologist signs up for a dangerous secret expedition.
Meg.
No!
Oh!
Expedition into a mysterious zone where the laws of nature don't apply.
Oh my god.
I think he gets to come back
No,
in
he
now.
doesn't. No, I haven't guessed.
Okay, well, fine. You get 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, Chris.
I don't know.
Dick.
Kong?
No. Everyone gives up. Annihilation. Annihilation.
Oh, yes. That's-
If y'all listen to
yes.
my rewinds here, this is
Very
really
true.
this is really just like a listen to me, guys, okay? Because I'm trying to tell y'all the way here with all my rewinds. All right, 3-3. Here we go. An introverted teenage girl tries to. Which one was that? Chris.
8th grade.
Yes, 8th grade. This is why the farting isn't like because y'all are both making the same noise. The name would have been, but well, you know, to each his own.
Mhm.
All right.
I just think if you just say it, it'd just be fine.
No, I like that. I like the.
I like the buzz. The
Yeah, I
buzz
like
is
the buzz.
see, it's an element.
slowing
It's
down
called-
the
It's called
game.
production value. Oh, we got somewhere to be. All right. A look at the life of astronaut Chris.
First man.
First man. Ding, 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 ding. All right, 5-3. That puts it away. That's all I had. Chris, you win. You did it. What's the movie that you're gonna give to Dick?
I want.
That I'm not gonna watch.
Until he watches what? Mononucleosis?
yeah. Yeah.
I want you to rewind Mac and Me.
All right. Yeah. that's easy.
Mac
Yeah.
and Me. All right, it's one he's already seen. Man, we're just giving the listeners gold here. Mac and Me.
But you've already seen it, so remember that the next time I lose.
Ooh, the kindness that was afforded to you. a movie you don't have to go find and waste 2 hours on. All right. Well, that was the short synopsis. And then we've done our rewinds. We've done news. Man, this has been a quality show, guys.
I do want to mention one thing.
Mention something.
At the theater, we're selling variety pins again this year, and if you don't know what that is, it's a donation of $3, and you get a little pin. It's a Mary Poppins pin this year, and the proceeds go to the Variety Children's Charity, which is the charity that helps children with mobility issues. They get them special bikes and mobility equipment that they wouldn't.
Are they Mac-and-Me pins?
They're not. They're Mary Poppins pins.
Oh, because Mac-and-Me's all about disability.
Well, not really. He's an alien.
Isn't that kind of the greatest disability of all? I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Being an alien.
All right. So Mary Poppins. Let's not lose
Yes.
focus here. Mary
Right,
Poppins variety pins. Are these
Variety
at every
pins.
Grand Theater and
They
Amstar?
are at every Grand Theater or Amstar Cinema. Yes, they are. It's just $3. So, you go to the gas station, the gas station, the grocery store, they say, you want to donate $2, $3. You don't get anything. You
Mm-hmm.
just give the money away. You get the pride of donating, which is a good thing. But this, you get something. You get the pin. It's a gold pin, not really gold, but it's a gold pin.
It's a $90 value.
No, and
$3
it's very
to buy.
cool. I put it on our Facebook page, so you can do more research on it if you'd like. But yeah, we're selling those through pretty much the end of March. So all proceeds go to the charity, like I said, and it's really great charity. And look it up online, variety.com, and it's good stuff.
Perfect. Just because the season of giving has ended, but that doesn't mean that we can't still be charitable and nice and kind and everything else. So give your $3. Don't drink one Starbucks one day or whatever it is, or you know what? Don't buy concessions at the theater next time you go. How about that, Chris? Instead, buy like 10 variety pins, and it'll be the same, but instead you'll be helping a charity. We'll have to close the theater afterwards.
What you
which
can
will be,
do, what I think is going to happen, you buy these and you go in those really cool recliner seats and just stick them in them.
Oh, no.
Stick them in.
No, we don't want to do that.
Oh,
I'm hoping we get to keep the seats nice for a good
Yeah.
for
while.
years to come.
I'm hoping.
Head free.
Yes.
No head,
Well,
no head
no
explosions.
severed
Well, we
heads.
can't forget, we always do a ticket giveaway.
Yes.
And the way to enter that ticket giveaway, 2 tickets to any Amstar or Grand Theater at every show, is you got to enter. And to enter, all you have to do is message on Twitter or email us at theticketstubpodcast@gmail.com or call this number, leave a message with your name and a way to contact you, 936-647-3776. We're also on Facebook, The Ticket Stub Podcast, and your name will be entered into the drawing. So start now. That's the way we're doing it. So if you haven't done it, go ahead and do it, and you'll be in it forever until you win.
Forever. And we've
Yeah.
got thousands of satisfied winners who
So-
have been to hundreds of thousands of movies.
And another thing, we
sound right?
we got 2 things coming up.
Oh, goodness.
So if since we recorded this prior to our Thursday drop, because this Tuesday, the 22nd, is the nominations
Yes.
for the Oscars.
Yes.
So for
Yes.
our next episode, which will be on the 31st, we'll be playing our game of picking the winners who we think are going to win. And
Okay.
we'd love for you, the listener, to join in and play the game with us.
Right.
So we got that. That's for the 31st. And then also on the 31st, on the next episode, we will be drawing what February's group rewind will be.
Correct.
Because if you remember when we already talked about this off the air, guys, is we're all going to select 12 movies
And put them in a hat.
and put them in a hat.
That's right.
And it's whatever
That's
movies.
not bad. Yeah, that's a good
And
idea.
the only condition is you, the person throwing the thing in the hat, hasn't seen the movie.
Yeah.
So you might have seen it, but you get to watch it again. So we got to kind of pick movies that the goal is none of us have seen.
And they don't have to all be terribly stupid, right?
No,
Okay.
it could be like
Oh,
who
well, that
won
would
the
help,
Oscar?
though.
Who won the Oscar in 1958? And the Best Picture. There you go. I guarantee no one's seen
Rain Grievous.
it. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we're
Isn't that a Star Wars guy?
I'm gonna do a
Maybe.
spectrum of it. I'm gonna do like really crappy '80s movie, and then I'm gonna do like some type of Criterion Collection foreign film.
Hey, and you can
and
tweet.
then-
And if you tweet at us, we'll put your movie in the hat. How about that?
Yeah,
And if it could possibly, we could make sure that these are all easily accessible.
The easy, let's not spend like our small fortune having to track all these things down.
Right, yeah.
I mean, they're really what problems are we running into besides Princess Mononoke, which you could have purchased.
Where? It's not anywhere. I promise you. It's not on
All right, well,
Amazon. It's not. I've looked.
Hey,
I
we'll
promise
we'll
you.
figure this out off the
Y'all
air.
think I just just let it go, but I didn't. I really tried.
We'll figure this out off the air. Let's close it out here, guys. Listeners, thank y'all so much for listening. Please, if you've got a movie suggestion for the group Rewind, tweet at us. Just tweet at us in general. We'll put you in the drawing to win tickets. And we've got the group Rewind
Found it
coming up
right here. I just found it.
No, you did not.
$20.
Where?
DVD right here at Amazon.com.
I'm not spending $20 on a DVD to watch that movie, but I will go to Second and Charles right here down
Look,
the road.
I found another one. It's $11. You can get it used for $6.
I'm not ordering it offline if I can stream it, but I will go.
So now we're getting the
to the
restrictions.
video store.
Now we're getting the restrictions.
No, I will go to the video store.
I found it for $2.56 used.
I'm sure that's
where
that's a good quality
on
disc.
Amazon.
It's a good quality disc.
On Amazon. Well, okay,
It's
all right.
Blu-ray,
I'll
completely
take a look at it.
new.
I'll take a look.
All right,
at it.
let's
for
figure,
16.
All right, we'll figure this out. Figure this out without everybody like going, oh, okay, here we go. All right, well, thank y'all so much. Like and review the show. Tell a friend. We need more Stubbies. Stub Nation needs to continue to grow.
Yeah.
And we'll be back next week. We'll be doing our Oscar ballots, or we'll be doing, the contest to do that. You can send us those. We'll also be announcing the group Rewind. So we got a lot of good stuff to come. So for Dick, for Chris, my name is Connor. We're signing off on the Ticket Stub.
Repeat, this is not a drill. Is that all you got?